I'm
I
saying?
think, but I think you have to, and this is my unsolicited advice.
Yeah, sure.
You have to vet yourself
Of course.
before you vet your woman, and you have to understand. You basically, when we're out here doing these social media campaigns, and we're creating our avatars, you
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to create your avatar.
Oh
You
no,
have
of
to sit
course.
down and manifest and tell God, this is the woman that I want.
You
Because if
see,
you're out here and just basing your desire on eye candy, guess what? Eye candy gonna take your money, waste your time, and just frustrate you.
but you see,
So,
can I go real quick into that, sister? See, the thing is with that is that I have learned now to manifest. That's what I was gonna get to. I learned to manifest something and ask God and see the signs that God has for me. Because nowadays I said to myself, you know what? I'm gonna allow God to choose and pick for me and me see the signs. Because I gotta say, I'm gonna be honest as a man, I wasn't really thinking with my head. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna be
oh, you
honest.
thinking with your
Oh no,
head just the other way.
wait. We ain't talking about that here, sister.
Okay.
Yo, go ahead. But I mean, I did go through my trials and tribulations, and I do feel as though, as this for everybody in society, I feel as though everybody should have God involved in all their decision making, because we're just we're human beings. We're not perfect. You know what I mean? We make mistakes, and our flesh is gonna want what we want. But you need to stop the flesh, because the flesh is just gonna keep making you go in circles. And I just feel as though for everybody out there, just in general, you know what I mean? Like you gotta pick and choose who you're gonna be with, and make sure that whoever you're gonna be with, you're gonna be happy with. And if that's your choice, then like they said in the beginning, I was listening to someone that said you got a month to figure the person out, to decide if that person is gonna be empowered with you, it's going to bring some interest into your life, it's going to bring some motivation, or it's going to bring something to the table for growth. That's the things that people got to start choosing and deciding. Not just like, oh, he looks good, she look good, she got a fat ass, he got look good, he got money. That's not what it's all about nowadays. You know what I mean? You got to be a little bit more mature. We're not living in the modern days no more. We're not living back in the 80s, the
Well, I'm
70s.
gonna say this. I'm gonna say this to you, Big Red.
Yeah, go ahead.
God may provide you with a gift and a woman, but she may not come in the package that you're looking for.
Oh no, of course not.
And
Of
I'm a
course not.
I'm gonna say this
Yeah.
second. I'm finna drop y'all. So I enjoyed this. I enjoyed it. Like I love your platform. I'm gonna say this. It's too much darn work. That's why I can't do it. I barely have
It's
enough
not.
energy for myself.
It's not.
Oh,
It's not.
can
It's
I,
not. So
can I say something to Libby?
we
Libby
gonna we
before?
gonna hold
Yeah.
on, Coco. We gonna let. So I want to say this.
I'm a drop. I'm a
Okay.
drop y'all. Good
Okay.
night, y'all.
Okay. And
Okay,
we'll
good night.
everybody here. I really really appreciate everybody and their input and impact. We do have people that be wanting to come up, so if we do have to move you around, and if you want to stay, you can stay in the chat, and then we'll bring you back up after the people speak. So once we get so many people, we got to start moving people around to try to bring people in to give everybody a chance to speak. I wish Livy would have dropped. I want to
If
do
you
it.
want,
No, no,
I
no,
can.
no, no. We'll figure it out. Just
Okay.
we just
Okay.
gonna figure it out as we go. But I'm just saying, if we do move you, you want to come back up. All you gotta do is we'll just move around. Come on, Coco and Thriving was here. We haven't heard from you guys. Go ahead.
You need some men up here.
They was down there. They was down there.
I'll drop it for a man. It needs to be more men up here. It's too many women.
No, don't drop.
It's
Don't
okay.
drop.
It's
Don't drop.
okay.
Don't
All
drop.
right, Coco.
No, come on.
Um,
Yeah, you go ahead and speak.
so I think that people put too people put people discredit their own experiences.
I know.
Like what I mean by that is you should be more skilled at noticing gold over a rock. If you've picked up a lot of rocks, like if you say for instance, Big Red, you have 5 women, right? They all was rocks. You know they wouldn't work two smash flies. When you see gold, it is different. And you can see that even better because you've picked up so many dang on rocks. Like I think that for men, it's not just about what they see, but them preparing themselves and being stable for themselves on what they want in life in order for them to really uh, even think about being in a relationship. But I also think that they discredit the experience they have, saying that, oh, I got to take somebody through this, that, and the third to figure out this, that, and the third. No, if you already had Lucy, uh, Shanae, Laquifa, and Martifa, and they all didn't work out for whatever reasons, you know what to look for. You just don't want to.
Come on, face-to-face coaching. What's up, baby boy? Come on, talk to us.
Okay, before he goes, tap the screen, folk. Tap the screen. We can get up to 200 tonight. Come on, y'all. Just tap that screen.
What's up, big bro? How you doing, man?
And appreciate seeing everybody. You already know. I'm sorry. Face-to-face. Thriving, you there? Or you?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I'm here.
Okay.
You
okay.
face to face can go because that's where your heart went first. So I'm gonna sit here and pout while he goes.
Nah.
Face to face.
You know what? I was scrolling, bro. I heard they said they needed some more men up here, so I just popped in for a quick minute. But back, yeah, man. To your prompt, are modern relationships collapsing under the unrealistic expectations? You know, it's really in the eye of the beholder. What expectations are you hoping to be met within your relationship? And we all know the saying, expectations build resentment if they're never met. So if there's a certain standard or principle I have for my partner, and she's just consistently showing me she can't meet that standard, and on top of that, making excuses about it, then personally, if I've already tried all the other, loops and hoops and there's no resolution, I have to have the strength to walk away. And so I always encourage people to have these conversations with your partner. A lot of us don't really have that communication skill where we know how to really open up and express our needs, wants, and desires to our partner. So instead, we act out a little bit, or we do this passive aggressive thing, and we just hope the other person figures it out. And then what that causes is it's a wear and tear into the design of what you're trying to build. So if my partner knows that I prefer, I prefer silence when the game is on, or if I know I want to go in 50-50 on the bills, but I'm not speaking directly to her about that, but I'm expecting her to figure it out, then that's on me. And I have to have the discernment to be open, honest, and confront things that I know I need. And so there's no confusion later on in life. She needs to know this is exactly what he wants. Now I have a decision. Do I want to give into this? Do I feel like it's something that's not, compromising me? Or am I biting off more than I can chew? So I think that's we just need to get back to some clarity on our communication with one another. And, and then from there, we decide if the expectations are too high.
Thank you, Coach.
Got you, brother.
Come on, Thriving. Come on, Thriving.
I was joking, by the way. I like to mess with you time to time. I'm here for it. I love hearing other people and what they have to say. But our problem is we want our cake and eat it too. Woo! That's the problem.
Get up.
Yeah, let me break it down for you. So they say that in the 60s, the marriages lasted. And they're also now saying that they want the same marriages that they had in the 60s to today. But the question is, are you willing to do what folks in the 60s did?
Nope.
Are you willing to wait before you deflower this young lady to go to her father's house and ask the father of the hand in marriage? Are you willing to do that, men?
Nope.
Ladies, are you willing to hold on to your flower before you took off all the petals and throw it to this guy and that guy and the other guy?
Nope.
So you can actually find a provider. You say you want a provider, 6 figures, So, what else do you guys say? 6 figures, 6 inches, and something else, 6 foot tall, right? Are you willing to hold on to your flower to where that man can actually find you so he can value you and protect and provide for you? No, none of y'all want to do the work. People just want to do it easy way.
Thank
You want your cake and eat it too. Stop that. That's not realistic. Now, we're in 2025. Unfortunately, we've done messed up. So let's not put a pin in it. Let's stop blaming men, blaming women. We're done messed up. Put a pin in it. realize that majority of people cannot afford to have their wives at home. Okay, that is just, only 24% of women in America can actually be stay-at-home spouses right now. The majority have to work. So if that's the case, then men, you cannot expect her to go break her back, taking orders from another man, another boss, and also come home and also break her back with you sitting on the couch playing video games. Let's be for real. And ladies, you have to realize that your husband is also working very hard and has all this burden of decision making and having a vision for the family and keep protecting you, keeping you safe. Don't knock the man. Let him have his pleasure once in a while. If maybe on the weekend he can play that game, so what? You know what I'm saying? We have to get to a place where we need to just be realistic, okay? In 2025, with this economy, and how things are going right now, we're on the verge of going to war. You better buckle down. You better buckle down. You better put that ego on the side and that pride on the side. Start working together now, especially for Black people. Come on, and I'll end there.
Sis said 100%.
Miss Pick Me, come on, Pick Me. We ain't heard from you. Come on.
I think that people can live however people want to live. I think that we have to. I'm a traditional woman, but I respect the fact that there are modern women. I respect the fact that there are polygamists. I respect the fact that there's so many different types of relationships, that mine isn't the only type, right? So I think that we have to stop pushing what works for me onto everybody else. So I am a traditionalist. And when I speak, I'm going to speak based on God, based on how God wanted it. Now, Samira may not be. Coco may be something. Coco may have 2 husbands. I don't know.
Come on, Coco. She called you out.
I do. Coco said it, man. But my point to that is that in 2025, there are different types of relationships, right? I just read something about a lavender. I had never heard of that, but hey. So even though what works for me is the traditional, and I'm a Christian, but I recognize everybody's not Christian. I recognize that everybody doesn't have those values. So I think that we have to stop pushing our values on everyone else and allow people to be who they are and what makes them happy. Everyone, Thriving mentioned about the traditional relationships. See, I disagree, because I can work and come home and cook and do all of those things, because that's how I choose to have my life, right? And if that works for me and my husband, that works for me and my husband. I don't think that anyone should tell me or tell anyone how to work their relationship. There are relationships that are 50-50. There are relationships that are 70-30. You have to do what's best for you and your mate. The key to me is we need to get back to families. Whatever that looks like for you and however that works for you, the key in the BLK community is for us to get back to being a family unit. Understanding that unit as we've previously known it is not the same, right? So respecting others, respecting how others are doing it in their way, and if it's working for them, being happy for them, and understanding when you're bringing children in there, they're bringing happy children, they're bringing children into a loving family unit, right? Whatever that may be, and be appreciative of that we have different types of families. But I do think that we have to stop pushing our way onto everyone else, because it doesn't always work. And then I hear people from other countries come on this panel and tell us how the rest of the world or other countries are doing it. Honestly, I don't really care how other countries are doing it. I only care about how we're doing it here in the United States, because at the end of the day, this is where everybody's trying to come. So if everybody's starting to tell us, well, they're doing it this way in this country, they're doing it this way in that country, well, then go to that country. Because at the end of the day, this is how we're doing it. We have some issues that we need to work through. We have a country full of different people from all other countries that are here. And we're like this melting pot trying to work through some things. And as far as the BLK community is concerned, we're working through being free. It's not that long that we've been released from slavery, but even still, slavery was still existing in the mind. So we still had the civil rights movement. We still had so many things that we were fighting for. We haven't been free that long. Give us the ability to get ourselves together instead of constantly talking about what we're not doing in the BLK community, what we're not doing as far as BLK Americans, how other people in other countries are doing it. I don't give a frick. I worry about us, and I feel that people need to get off our backs and allow us to work through whatever we're working through, understanding that we haven't had as many freedoms for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. We've not been free. The Civil Rights Act, the Civil Rights Movement, Martin Luther King, that hasn't been 100 years ago. So we were sitting in the back of buses we had white section black. That hasn't been that long ago. So give us the ability to work through that as a people and give us grace instead of telling us how bad we are and how great these other countries are. I say again, if our country is that bad and if the BLK community is that bad to people from other countries, go to where it's great and stop dogging us out. And I land.
Oh, that was good.
I agree. I think a lot of people do come on the internet and they make themselves the paradigm of the what to live by for other people. Like you see other guys, oh, I'm a passport brother. Everybody should be a passport brother. I'm anti-black women. Everybody should be anti-black women. I'm divesting. Everybody should be divesting. I think what we should be doing is, like she said, do what works for you and what makes your life the most functional for you to get to where you're trying to go, because your standard across the board is not the paradigm for everybody. You know, we have this unhealthy mindset, especially these podcasters, where they feel like they are the standard that everybody should be living by, and then calling other men simps for not living by their standard, or, you know, other women calling women pick-meshas for not living up to their standard. It's like, fam, come on, let's have a little bit of balance here. Balance is always key.
That's right. Come on, who up?
I am proud to be a BLK American, and I'm sure most of us are here are. We got issues, but everybody is jacking our style. Everybody wants the bodies that we've had, and they constantly talking about us, but constantly trying to be like us. So you tell me, what is that? You tell me, what is that? We are the standard. Say what you want to say. I don't care what other countries are doing, but they're starting to mimic us at the end of the day. And that is something for us to be proud about. Yes, we have some issues that we have to work through. Yes, women need to work through some things. Yes, men need to work through those things. But we will get there, because one thing about us is we know how to fight. We know how to get together. We know we are a colorful people. I love being BLK. Nobody can make me hate being BLK. It don't matter what you say about us from other countries. I don't give a frig. I love being a BLK American, and I stand 10 toes on it.
I love it. I try to look at it like this, guys, because yes, if you notice, we are the original acidic black BLK, humans. And a lot of people do kind of depict our style, try to derive certain things from our culture, but it's primarily focused on the physical attraction of our community. You don't really see a lot of people adopting our mindset, our attitudes, or even our spiritual practices. There are more people in different communities and cultures that are probably suffering from more self-harm situations because we were born with the Spirit. We understand that there is something greater than us out there that brought us into this world. And though we're suffering as a people, we still cherish and appreciate our lives as humans being on this earth. And so they kind of pick us apart. It's like you at the grocery store. You kind of take what you want, leave what you don't. And so some of the most promising attributes about us, they don't embrace. They don't embrace our nappy hair. They don't embrace, our intellectual skills of inventing. They just really take what they can to utilize and capitalize and leave us to fight over the rest. And so I think I was on this pod a couple nights ago, and we was kind of speaking about the origin. Where did this all happen where, the nuclear family was unified and then got divided? And we was just talking about, yes, in the 50s and 60s, mom and dad were in the household with the kids. Later on, our prominent Black leaders were all assassinated, from X, Martin, Hampton. Moving to the 70s, mass incarceration movement. From the 70s to 80s, AIDS epidemic, crack epidemic. 90s, Clinton crime bill, and so forth. So there has been a lot of intentional extermination and division within our specific community. And a lot of people don't understand why us. Why us specifically? We've heard instances maybe in the Jewish community, we've heard some instances maybe in the Asian community, but why us so recently right here in the United States? We were brought here to serve. We are no longer needed to serve. We're the only race that you cannot deport and send back to the homeland. East African, if he gets out of line, you can deport him. Asian, if they get out of line, you can send them back. Hispanic, he get out of line, you can send him back. But what do you do with 40 million BLKs that were brought here against their will, and the supreme higher than us do not want us here? You exterminate them from the inside out, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, financially. You got police genocide. You've got BLK on BLK crime. You've got mass incarceration. You've got lack of resources. We don't own any manufacturings. And so in the 70s, when men were sent to high school to learn a trade skill, they were automatically leaving high school with a degree that they could utilize to pay the bills, right? Carpentry, welding, electrician. And so they were able to provide for their families. The moment the prominent leaders were assassinated, that is when they started pushing college on the Black female. From there, the goal was to make the man economically irrelevant to the Black queen. So you start to see the shift from the 70s on up, where there was more of a division in a single parent household. It went from 25% to 75 through 78% single mothers raising these children. That is not by accident. That is specifically and intentionally designed. So until we sort of educate ourselves on the origin of this, we are going to have back and forth banter when it comes to the standards in which women want their man to be. We are the only race where our women out-earns the man 4-1 in any household. And so we have to kind of wake up to the clues that have been left, where our brothers will support, our community will support multicultural races into our community. But for some reason, we have such an internal self-hatred towards ourselves that we will sit in a room and focus so much on the things we dislike about each other than we'll ever try to find to come together, unless we are in a trauma bond mentality, where it's like your struggles match my struggles. We just gonna link up and struggle together. There's no unity for thriving, for excelling. And if so, it's on a very small scale. So our goal as people together is to try to get on a higher frequency of unification by understanding one another. I was just talking to a client, and he said, bro, why does my girl keep popping off at me, like on stuff I didn't even know was that serious? I said, brother, I'm gonna give you a tactic. It's something I like to call reflective listening. If your partner is asking you to do something, if she's needing something from you, but either because of her delivery or tonality is going over your head or you blocking it out, I need you to sit with her for 1 second, take in the words she's giving you, and slowly repeat them right back to her. So, my queen, they call me pick me. What you're saying to me is you would like for me to take the trash out before we start dinner so it doesn't have, a funk in the kitchen. Am I understanding you correctly? And then allow her to respond and not make her feel so defensive or getting into this moment where you might call her a nagger because she simply feels like you have no desire to hear her. And so it's these little tools and skills that we can start to pick up through educating ourselves that we can finally find ourselves as a tight unit again and get back to how our parents and grandparents were back in the 50s and 60s. I believe it can happen.
So coaching, I have to ask you a question. You
Yes,
made
ma'am.
the comment about us coming over in slave ships, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know we were here before that?
I understand we were the indigenous here. I'm just speaking as far as the large quantity of being stripped from our culture. We are the only race where we had our own religion, we had our own language, we had our own way of connecting with other tribes within our community. That was all stripped from us. And the trauma did not start like how it did when Christopher Columbus came and was attacking the indigenous Native Americans.
Right.
So I speak on this specifically because that is when you started to see the carnage change, the psychological warfare, the trauma really start to get passed down generationally, is when our people from Africa were deliberately brought here by Europeans, tortured, defamated. It was wretched. And so I speak on that because if you start to see what's happening to us today, it did stem from 1619.
No, I get exactly what you're saying, but I'm saying we don't know if we all came from slaves from Africa, from countries in Africa, because some of us were already here in this country who are natives to this country. So not all of us were brought here.
We gotta get our reparations, sister. We all FBA.
That's my point. That's my point, host. That's really my point.
You know I'm trolling.
No, that's exactly my point. We were already here, and reparations should happen. But no, I'm saying I'm saying that, Coach, because I just recently found that out, and I'm saying that, Coach, to say we're not taught so much about us. That's what I was really referencing. That's why I said what I said. We're not taught. They don't tell us the real history. And you have to do your own kind of, and I started doing my own after hearing from other people. And I'm like, no, that's not true. We came on as slaves. See, that's what you're taught. But then when I started doing some research, I'm like, oh my gosh, everything taught. Exactly, host. So that's all I'm saying, Coach. That's all I'm saying.
Personal journey of self due diligence for them to do that. But I want to allow the brother to speak. He came up. Techno. Okay.
Shonda.
Okay, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right. I just passed through and I heard the gentleman speaking, and he said so much that was just like hitting home. And I asked up that I just wanted to commend him on, I don't know what avenue he's taken for whatever study he's had, or maybe it's just been life itself. But everything he was saying was on point, and I appreciate what he had to say, and it's inspiring. I'm just passing through.
We
And I'm listening
appreciate you,
to him.
brother. We appreciate you.
Listening to him talking, it's like, it's inspiring. It actually, helps me too, like, because it's, a lot going on right now. A lot of people are going through a lot right now because, the economy is crazy, and a lot of people are just pretty much just trying to make it. And relationship wise, a lot of people struggling too. And what he said about, how two people can just sit in the room, or how people can sit in the room and look for all the negative instead of trying to find ways out. It's like, and relating that to all that we've already been through and all the struggle. Like, you get tired of struggling, so you just always trying to focus on something negative. That was inspiring to hear. So I just appreciate that. Just let you know straight up, man. I appreciate you.
We appreciate you for coming through, brother.
I appreciate that. Thank you, brother.
It's much love, man. Who haven't had a chance to speak? Mel, is you there? I know you had a little noise going on. You want to speak or you? Okay.
Oh no, I'm just hanging out. I'm in the gym.
All right. All right. Everybody got a chance to speak?
I completely agree with what Face to Face was saying. My thing is we have been habitually pointing the finger and tearing each other down, and it's all at our disadvantage at the end of the day. You know what I mean? The men are blaming the women are blaming the men, and what it all boils down to is personal accountability and saying, okay, from this point forward, let me do my part as an individual to contribute to the collective. I think we got so many people who are just hell bent on, taking out their frustrations on the opposite sex because they've been hurt. And I get it, fam. Like, I've been hurt too. I would never fix my mouth to what's the word I'm looking for? To tear down black men just because I've been hurt by a black man. I have black men in my family that I love. I was raised with my mother and my father. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I think that speaking in generalizations and negative ones at that, they hurt us all. But in regards to modern relationships, like he was saying, like that we're living in a different landscape now at this point. So we are dealing with a completely different set of issues that makes it impossible almost for us to still hold the same traditions as we did 50 or 60 years ago. Just like what they call me pick me was saying as well. Like, it's some people, and this is where having discernment comes in at, though. I think too many people are trying to force someone who is not their person into this mold of, conforming or quote unquote submissing. This is like, the word submission has been totally weaponized, right? Where it's like, if you want someone who is going to let you browbeat them or whatever the case may be, you want full and total submission without anybody questioning your decisions or whatever the case may be, you have to use your discernment to find someone whose beliefs align with yours instead of browbeating someone who doesn't believe in what you believe and then leading with lust or physical attraction and trying to force someone who doesn't have the same belief system as you into a relationship harmoniously. That's a recipe for disaster.
So to Coach, I always appreciate you and all the like minds that come in and bring a certain type of perspective. But at the same time, I have to always give pushback to challenge our ability to move forward. Everything you said, I was in agreement with till you got to going back to the 1950s. We're not going back, Coach. You said you think we could. I wanted to ask you, how is that going to even be physically possible, because we can't go back physically. Mentally, we can't go back. What I see is we have become a very, very, look. I got all kind of stuff, right? It's a McDonald's on every corner. And y'all got to follow me. I don't want this going over people's head. We have become very, very comfortable. So now we want everything to go perfect. A lot of people say, no, it's true. Because I've been having these panels, not to battle, but to learn, to study, to give, to have reference. And when I ask, what do you want? What do you want in a significant other? Or what do you deem this person can have as a flaw? Nobody wants flaws. You got people that know cheating, know this, know that. They got a bunch of no's. We have become comfortable to where we don't realize how comfortable we are. So everybody goes into complaining about everything. And it's a change happening. That change is always happening. It's going to continue to happen. And it's like a lot of people don't want to accept that. I was raised, they told me, don't you ever do that in the Bible. Y'all know what? And it just was never in my spirit, right? But now I see the whole world shifting to that. And I stay away from it because some of these people offer me money, but I gotta be careful. But because I'm standing on them old principles, You know, they put me under the block list. This is real serious. I don't even want to accept it, but I'm finding a balance with it. So come on, coach. I need you to tell me how we're going to go back to the 50s.
I'll put it like this, brother. In biblical principles, Hosea 4:2 says, our people are being destroyed due to a lack of knowledge. And though we cannot reverse time and go back to the 50s, the principles and the values are timeless. So the standard by which they lived to protect the nuclear family still applies to this day, although we are living in a spiritual warfare in 2025. The devil has ran rampant, and this is not for anyone who doesn't practice religious beliefs, but spirituality is very, very real. We are living in the days of the lazy learner. Nuri Muhammad calls it the Google brains, where they're not really doing, I love Nuri. That's my brother, man. Shout out Indiana. And so we're not educating and doing our due diligence to research further than what we see once we type it into Google.
Amen.
And so when you look at social media, when you look at the rise of the addiction to sensationalism, it appears that we give more clicks and attention to negativity than we do seeing positivity or individuals thriving and excelling. And so there is a pattern that continues to, it's a tyrannical growth especially within our community, because we have to be awake to the reality that we have been attacked. We have been targeted as a community. Yes, we have a power that is second to none when it comes to the human existence. But they have figured out ways to attack us outside of it, to disconnect us from it and disconnect us from each other. In strength, there is numbers. So why do you see our specific culture being so divided? Unnecessarily, it seems like. There is no true reason why the brothers in Chicago are just, decimating each other by the buku. And there is really no true substance of justification for this kind of just damage that is happening to us within ourselves. Let's take a look at the music industry for a second. You will never hear a record about a Jew killing, unaliving or attacking another Jew. You will never hear a record about an Asian unaliving or attacking another Asian, LGBTQ, or so forth. But listen to a brother, whether it's Little Durk, NBA, Youngboy, Kodak Black, these brothers will be paid millions of dollars up front to promote what Brother 19 Keys calls the deaf culture.
I like 19 Keys too. I like him too.
And Keys is my brother too, man. Shout out High Level Conversations. It's imperative that we unveil the eyes, right? My mentor used to tell me all the time, Ken, you have been raised and indoctrined to use the two eyes in your skull. And unfortunately, they are governed by the ego. So you can only focus on the differences between you and other people. You can never come together when your primary focus is on how different brother bigger play is than me, or they call me mispick me, don't, side with what I say. And these are manipulated for division.
Yep.
But when you learn to use your God eyes, your third eye, your spiritual eye, you can train it to focus on the similarities between one another. That is where we start to grow together. That is where we wake up to the attacks that are coming against us and prospering, if you look at our community specifically. And so I try to be very mindful with my languaging, not only to other people, but to myself. The things that I tell myself, the way I view myself and I view the people around me has to come from a foundation of love. And that is the practices that were used in the 50s. We had our own banks. We had our own schools. We had our own bus system because we weren't allowed to integrate with the Caucasian community. So we need to get back to that. And you only see us come together when there is some national calamity, whether it's George Floyd or Mike Brown or, Tamir Rice or Trayvon Martin, that is the only time we come together. And then what do? We protest. But the problem is there is nothing after the protest. The protest is not the goal. It is the means to the end. And so we have to use our voice to not only come together in pain and suffering, but also come together in unity and start to build economic growth for our community. That is where it starts. We the 9th richest nation, brother. We bring in $1.9 trillion a year. But what do we spend it on? McDonald's.
Nothing.
500 billion on hair and beauty. 20 billion a year on liquor and THC. We're not putting our money in places that is growing our community so we can rely on ourselves. And that is why my biggest setback about the reparations comes in, because yes, our ancestors went through some horrible, horrific things. But if we don't come together and be responsible, it's just like what
Coach.
It's just like what happened. Look, bro, I was around during the pandemic. I saw what was going
Louis
on.
Vuitton and Gucci, everything.
The pandemic was a preview of the reparations.
Yeah.
And until we learn to really channel and funnel our money towards something that is going to pay us back in the long run, we're going to end up right back on the string of the supremacy, and we're never going to get anywhere. And that depression only causes us to project onto each other. We never find a sense of peace within ourselves. So it has to start at the core. And I believe getting back to the principles of the 1950s, the 40s, when Marcus Garvey was in, supporting, I believe it was the Starlight Project, and, things that allowed us to feel proud about being Black, to feel beautiful about it.
The Panthers, all of that. Yeah. It was a movement.
The Panthers, Fred Hampton. I'm telling you, we had unity.
1 second.
Go ahead, sister.
Host, do you see the passport? Somebody in the chat. The passport, bro. I'm gonna get down. He wants to request that.
Trying, but the thing is, I be telling them I can't find them about being so many people down there. They got the Senate, and then I can bring them up. That's the only problem with all those people.
Okay.
I had a question on coaching because I loved a lot of what you were saying.
Yeah, I want to talk to Coach.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm co-host. Go ahead.
Let Coach know I appreciate you, bro, because this is pushback is a way to build, and I appreciate you being transparent. Okay, let me get you, brother. I appreciate you being transparent. I don't see you, brother. You got to try to. I'm gonna get you. I'll find you. I appreciate you giving the pushbacks and transparency, because we able to build and then build on that conversation, because sometimes we'll stop and it needs to be more there. So I like to give pushback. I'm gonna come looking for you. Go ahead, sister. Come on.
What I was gonna say was the fact that I think that as a BOK community, we are fabulous, right? We are smart. We are athletic. Everybody wants to be us, but they don't want to deal with the trauma that we have to deal with. So I think a lot of that, to me, is a lot of people are jealous. And we don't recognize how great we are, but everybody else does, because they wouldn't be trying to be us if they didn't. So I say that to say that we haven't shined, right? When the Civil Rights Act was passed, but prior to that, you had the YT bathrooms, we had to sit in the back of the bus. We weren't able to shine for the world, right? Today, we able to shine. And we taking advantage of the shine, right? We're taking so much advantage of it that we're not stopping to realize how it's hurting us as a community. The fact that we think we're doing anything for $1. Somebody put in the comment section about the Zeus Network. We're on TV fighting each other just to be fighting each other. And it has high ratings. We love the drama. But that brings us popularity. That creates us a famous situation. We want to be TikTok famous. Everybody wants to be seen. And as a BOK people, we had to sit in the back of the buses for so long. We had to be in the back. We had to be quiet. The men couldn't talk to the white women. So now we're free.
and we are acting like a fool. We acting like fools.
That's liberation.
We're liberated. We are so liberated, but we don't recognize our power in each other and the things that we can do together because we are powerful. If you never saw Netflix's special, Killer Mike had a special on Netflix about how we own so much. Exactly what you were talking about, Coach.
Wow.
We used to own so much. We used to own land. We have BLK Wall Street.
Right.
We were doing the darn thing with each other, but that wasn't enough for us. We want the pat on the back from YT America, right? We want to be more famous than just in the BLK population. So we have to get out there. And then we started working in corporate America, and we started making money, and we started doing this, and we're in their clubs and playing golf. We're trying to be like them instead of being us. When we recognize our greatness as a people, we will be unstoppable, but we have to recognize who we are. We are definitely kings and queens. Everybody else knows. We just don't. And I land.
Few people in the comments that are just here to spread negativity. So just to brief everybody, they're here to be ignorant. So we already know what y'all are on.
But no, I don't see him. Hold on. Passport bro, you want to speak?
Go ahead and answer the prompt. Thanks for letting me up. Yeah, it says our modern.
Here, sister, I appreciate you meeting me for having your eyes open, but I don't see him. I don't think they're here. Come on, brother.
Yeah, all right. So it's talking about our modern relationships collapsing under the unrealistic expectations. Well, yeah, it's worse than they actually think. From a passport bro, red pillar, patriarchal, traditional man perspective, if you look worldwide, in every single country where feminism is prevalent, the men are leaving. I did a little research, right? This guy made me realize that it was world because he said, "Hey, I'm in Norway, and you guys think the same way we're thinking. We're leaving our women too, right?" And I said, "Oh, that's interesting." So I looked it up. Sure enough, Norway men are leaving Norway women because they're becoming modern. And then I checked Sweden, same thing. There's a movement of Swedish men looking for foreign women, because their women are becoming modern. Same thing for UK, same thing for Germany, and even Asian countries. In Taiwan, men are marrying out. They're marrying Chinese women, right? And even in Japan, the men are going for Filipino women. So regardless of what country, what race, what culture, feminism most definitely chases men away. In every single country, regardless of culture, it just turns men off everywhere. Even in Kenya, right? The Kenyan women in Africa, of course, in Nairobi, they're probably the most modern African women of any other African countries. Guess what they're doing in Kenya? The men are avoiding the city women because they say they act too much like Black American women, and they're going for village women. Right. And in Nigeria, the women who act like modern women, the Nigerian men don't even consider them Nigerian. They're outcasted, and the men leave them too. So being the fact that this is a cross-cultural worldwide phenomenon, it's more than just a trend. It is evolution. This is obviously innate. How do you know something is a human innate phenomena? When it's cross-cultural, happening all around the world, even when other men don't even know other men are doing it. It is a natural reaction. So my conclusion is, from a passport bro, red pillar, patriarchal, traditional man perspective, my conclusion is modern relationships are on the losing side of evolution. And this is why the birth rates are declining. Feminism, if you want to decrease birth rates, introduce feminism. That would surely decrease birth rates and decrease marriage rates. So, yeah, I'll land there.
Okay, brother Tux. How you doing, brother? You there, Tux? I just got a chance.
What's up, OG? What's up, gangster? Let me borrow that chain and feed Africa, man. Come on, man.
You over there cutting up, Tux. You just getting here, or you been able to listen a little
I've
bit?
been listening, man. But you know me, I just had to show my brother some love, man. I'm gonna tap in a little bit. I just want to make sure I get more of a perspective on what's going on.
Okay, I want you to chime in for a minute. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
What's up, panel? Respect.
Okay, appreciate you, Tux. Face to face, you want to speak, brother? Okay, face to face, then jump out.
I'm here. I was just, kind of listening to the brother, and that's understandable. Again, when I listen to a lot of current,
I'm
events,
trying to give the brother some pushback, but come on.
yeah, I go back, I always try to stem back to the origin of how these things began, because I feel like that is the only way you can really diagnose something and find some common ground, especially when dealing with opposite genders or cultures or race. So, he's got his take on it, and I was honestly on a phone call, so I didn't get to hear every single thing he was saying. Okay. But yeah, I'll listen to a few more responses, and then I'll hop in.
Any other sisters want to say anything? I'm sorry. Oh my God, I missed you, brother. Tashanga, come on, speak. Come on.
I just wanted to ask about the statistical aspect of what he was saying, because he named a whole lot of places, and he spoke as if he had some real statistics on the like on the marriage rates and things of that nature, and how men were moving in those cultures and in those areas. I just wanted to know, as far as the statistical aspect, does he have factual stats that back up what he's saying, or is he going by word of mouth?
Appreciate you being patient, Ra. Hold on, brother. All right, come on, brother. Passport.
Yeah, as a passport bro, red pillar, patriarchal, traditional man perspective, we don't go by hearsay. Okay, we don't do this hearsay anecdotal stuff. Okay, I actually made a video of it. All right, and in the video there are the sources right in the video. All right, so I didn't just make this stuff up. I don't know which number the video is on my page, but it's there. It's actually mentioned every country that I mentioned. So basically, but you can check America. The birth rates are declining, of course, because feminism is prevalent. Everywhere where feminism is prevalent, there's a birth rate decline. So passport bros, we seem to be the smart ones because we jumped on the winning side of evolution, right? You can call it what you want. The facts are there, okay? Black American women, there's a 4% birth rate decline. And this is something that you don't understand. There's something called natural population preservation system. This happens when a group of women in a society becomes so undesirable they can no longer depend on marriage to sustain the population, because not enough men will marry them. So they're faced with three options: either become more desirable, which they're not doing, and the other two options are baby mama culture, and the other option is go extinct. Well, it looks like they chose the baby mama culture. In other words, skip marriage because they're not successful at that and just start popping out babies. So they chose option two, and this is why we have the baby mama culture. It is a result of undesirable women. So when the population is in jeopardy of declining, it triggers a natural population preservation system. And this is, the soldiers are basically the population preservation soldiers are sustaining the population, meaning you get the Pookies and the Ray Rays, and they just get you pregnant, right? Because if it wasn't for them, your population would probably have to drop by 70%. All right, if it wasn't for the population preservation soldiers, the Black American population would be probably lower than Asians by now. So, and this is a result of undesirable women. Now, if you want to get out of this population preservation system, the only way to do it is become more desirable. And I don't know if they can do that considering their pride and ego and belief system and feminism and women empowerment. I don't see it happening. So now it's getting so
So
bad to
more
even the
projection. I told you he was
No,
here to
this is
spread negativity.
ma'am, I don't think you know the definition of you clearly
Right.
don't know
You're
the definition.
projecting on a whole bunch of people that you've never met, sir.
Ma'am,
And that's
ma'am, I'm
ridiculous.
going by the
Hold
birth
on,
Because
hold on.
rates.
number one,
Let
black
him
men
finish.
are the number one people or who are
hold on. We got.
You know what? I would like to just
Hold
land the
on.
plane. All right.
Hold on, brother. We're gonna let you get a chance to respond to the brother in 2 seconds. Come on, brother. Go ahead and land it.
All right, okay. To land the plane, I'm talking nothing but facts and statistics. You know, that's what passport bros do. We state statistics, right? So simply look at the birth rates and look at the low marriage rates and look at the high single parent rates. The reason why you have high babies born, the reason why you got a baby mama culture is because you're undesirable. If you were desirable enough, men would marry you. But because you're undesirable, you have to depend on population preservation soldiers to sustain your population, because at this point, that is the only way you can even have a baby.
it's a
You
load of
you you
BS.
you want a baby, right? Well, you got to go to the population preservation soldiers, because marriage-minded men would probably won't do it. But some will, but since you're undesirable, you cannot afford to say marry me because they simply won't. So you got to skip that part and just look for a man to just knock you up. You know why? Because it's simply easier. Alan.
Okay, thank God he landed that ridiculous plane. This is again, Mr. Face-to-face coaching. This is the reason why I'm so glad that you're on the panel, because we need more men who are more balanced in the mind, who can actually speak life into our community instead of degrading each other. People like Mr. Passport Brother, they make it their
The
personal.
host is trying to talk.
This the thing, me. You know, we have a lot of people listening, right? So say if some brothers just listening to the brother with no pushback, then what does that lead them? When we put a platform here where it's just kumbaya, we're gonna lose because everybody gonna stay away and it's just gonna be us. We gotta allow these brothers to come in here so we can have these replays, so these brothers can look back on these things and see either how intelligent they are, how much they learned, or how foolish they look. These platforms need to be able to allow a
For
person.
sure. No, I was just saying, I'm glad that face-to-face coaching is here, because if he's here, then I know he's going to give some type of an intelligent rebuttal to what this fool is saying. But my thing is, we have so many black men in our community who are contributing to the demise of our people, right? And are in denial about it. Number one, you guys are 13% of the population, but make up over 50% of the crime rate. And he wants to sit here and villainize black women as baby mamas when we're the most educated. Like, get out of here. So at the end of the day, though, it's not even about that. We tend to forget how we got here in the first place, which is what Face to Face was saying earlier. We have to revert back to the root of the problem, and it's not each other. Okay, all of this happened by design, but people like Red Pill or Mr. Passport Brother are here to revel in the outcome instead of focusing on the root and how to fix the problem. He would rather come here to villainize black women instead of saying, okay, well, this is how we can fix the problem, and this is how we can move ahead as a people. We're here to fix the problem, not sit here and point fingers and villainize each other. But that's what he's here for, because he likes negative attention. He does this on multiple panels.
Okay, but why do we allow it to trigger us, right? We all know who Passport is. We all know, we've seen him, we've heard him. We know he's going to come with statistics. He has a right to feel how he feels. And actually, a lot of the statistics,
conversation. It's not
right, that's my point.
It don't shake nobody. For real.
Yeah, we can't let it trigger us. He actually, the statistics that he does give are actually true, right? Whether you agree or not, but he does have a right to feel how he feels. We don't have to agree with them, but he has a right to say how he feels.
Change is happening. And in order for us to have a certain type of conversation or facilitate, not shaking, don't shake nothing. We want to be able to talk, sister. We want your input too. I'm allowing people to speak instead of go push the brother off. We don't have to do that. We can have a conversation, because he's not calling nobody. People come up here and y'all been here. Y'all know how these trolls do. We get him right up out of there. He's not doing that. So we cool with the smoke. Come on, sister. Somebody.
Can I ask a question? I have a question for the passport bro, though. So, passport bro, I get everything that you are saying, and I think you have every right to find the type of woman you want. Anybody has a right. A woman has a right. A man has a right. But my question for you is, what is the end game for you with sharing the statistics? Is it that you want us to do better, or I'm trying to understand what is it that you're wanting us to what do you want for us? What do you want us to do after hearing what you share with us? After you gave us all of those statistics, in a perfect world, what would you have us do?
Brother, you there?
Can you hear passport? You're on mute.
You gotta unmute your mic.
Yeah, in any given situation, in order to come to a solution, you have to know where you are. You have to pinpoint the exact problem. Okay, for example, let's say we do look up statistics on test grades in all the schools around the country. And we come to the conclusion, because of the statistics, we realize that Detroit have the lowest reading scores of all the schools in the country, right? And so now we know where we are, right? This is what statistics do, is to let you know where you are so you can know how far you need to go.
Passport. We trying to allow you to have a dialogue with the young lady. So instead of, doing too much flying, we're trying to hear you out. We're trying to get some more.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I said we're trying to hear you, but we want something more direct, so we don't be, you know what I'm saying? We don't,
okay. Oh, wait. First of all, none of them even addressed my argument. The response was ad hominem attacks, personal attacks, and appealing to ridicule. So there was
nobody. The young lady just spoke to how she felt.
She called me a fool, sir. One lady called me a fool. I don't know if you know what appealing to ridicule is, but appealing to. Do you mind me telling you how the arguments were flawed and they did not even challenge? Okay.
I'm trying to.
So none of them even challenged my argument. I'm sorry.
To have a conversation with you. You follow what I'm saying, or no? You just want to.
Right. So I'm telling you that they're not addressing my claim.
Said they only one woman.
Okay, the women who responded did not address my claim. What they did was, do you mind if I finish my sentence?
Yeah, I'm trying to have a conversation with you, but you just
talk. So my point is having a conversation. That's exactly my point. Appealing to ridicule is not having a conversation, right? Right. For example, let me tell you what appeal to ridicule is. Instead of challenging an argument, they'll just say, well, that's nonsense or that's ridiculous. That's not addressing the argument. That is appealing to ridicule. Look it up. It is a fallacy, right? She also said this fool, this fool, that. That's a personal attack. You obviously allow it on your panel, personal attacks. Right. And so you should have guided them and told them to actually address my argument instead of just spewing out fallacies.
Why you feel like you're being personally attacked? Why you sharing them type
of a personal attack is when you name call, right? Is when you say you're a fool or something like that. So that's what they did. So that's a personal attack. Me personally.
Why is it bothering you is what I'm saying.
No, it doesn't bother me. It is a ad hominem attack, meaning it is not logical. So I don't care. Actually, it actually makes me feel good because it actually makes me realize that I'm winning the higher, more ground, right? You understand that? So this is why I'm mentioning it, because it is literally a count against them. They're hurting their own argument. That's why I'm mentioning it.
Have a conversation, or you want to just talk?
Well, you know what? I promise I won't personal attack anyone. I promise I won't do that. Like you allow. You allow that.
You're kind of long-winded.
Allow that. He did.
Yes, you did. All right. You know what?
He told her that he's allowing you to speak. He specifically
right. Okay.
said
so
everyone has a right on the panel.
All right. Look, since no one addressed my argument, right?
I did. I told you your statistics are your statistics are right. I said that. And
Right.
then
So
I asked you
okay.
a
So where's the
question.
counter argument? Could somebody state an actual counter argument? Because you're making it too easy for me.
We weren't trying to argue.
He asked you a question. You were away from the phone, and you're not even paying attention to
All
that
right.
because
What's
you're
the
so
question?
long-winded.
I mean, we on
Bro,
this
I
panel.
hate to move you around, bro, but we're trying to have a conversation.
You know what? I promise I won't name call like your other panelists did. I promise I won't.
That's done. I'm trying to see why you're getting so emotional about that as a man. Like that's
Sorry. Do you know the difference between?
Do you know the difference between? I'm trying to talk to you instead of you listening.
Right. Do you?
Just here to argue.
He wanted to just argue. He didn't want.
This is what he does on multiple panels. This is
He
what he does.
wanted us to come at him, and your panel. We've been respectful, and you specifically said something to me.
Don't worry about it.
I don't know.
I hope nobody didn't drop him. They probably dropped him on his.
Even argue against him. She just asked him a question about what his solution would be to the problem. But his only solution is become a passport brother and say F black women. That's his only solution.
Well, no, he wanted
and he's here to trigger black women. That's it.
No, he wanted you, BB. He wanted to go back and forth with you, and that's not how the host. We're not here just to argue.
Exactly.
We have conversations.
That part. But he goes on multiple panels with the intention to find someone to argue with.
Right. It goes back to.
I wish that he wasn't like that, because I don't mind talking. I talk to all type of people in my life. You know, just way.
I tried to warn you. I tried to warn y'all.
Go ahead.
He's still in the room. Yeah. He's still on. If you want to bring him back up,
Sis.
Oh, Melanin is asking if he wants to come back up.
Oh, it's not that we wanted to silence our brother. Right. It's not that we wanted to silence him. We just simply wanted him to give clarity on his opinion. It seemed so opinionated that it was offending people.
He did exactly that, brother.
And people just simply wanted to see where he was going with it. And sometimes when we get so emotionally riled and on our high horse about a certain topic, it doesn't really allow us to get context respectfully.
But he did. He gave I think as sister they call me Pick Me. She did acknowledge that the brother basis of what he said most of the time is true. But the issue is that oftentimes when we're on these panels and we're holding these different topic discussions, we get triggered because it touches something. And I'm more on the lines of that's good, because there needs to be dialogue. It needs to be deliberative dialogue in our community around these issues. That sister up top, Mimi, you lost it, because when you started going in on him on a personal level, whether you were on a panel prior to with him or you know of him, that was the problem. You got very, very triggered by him. And when you got triggered by him, he knew it. And so what he did was he wanted to debate with you because you got triggered, and he knew you got triggered, and you got triggered for a reason. So, and then you start throwing out, oh, we the most highly educated and Ray. That wasn't even important. The reality is that, and I'm speaking from a Black woman, the reality is that we got issues, sisters. We got issues. And the issues are stemming from, it's so many, but the issue is stemming from our mindset. And you showed that, you gave an inside view of your own thinking when you went up against him. You already know what the brother thinking is. You know what the brother thinking is. So that's where you lost it. And it's called the art of war.
You got to know how to play the game. Everything is a game. Life is a game. And you got to know how to play the game. That's it, I yield.
Because at the end of the day, as I said, he has a right to feel how he feels, regardless of if we agree or not. The host gave him the ability to speak on his platform, and the host likes for, could you somebody mute? Thank you. The host likes for us to have conversation, and we could have had a conversation, but we have to be careful of calling people names, and I've said this before. I guess I get called names. That's why I have the name they call me Pygmy, because you get called names when you don't agree with people, right? At the end of the day, whether he doesn't like BLK women, we don't agree with it. Hey, he has a right to feel how he feels. The host allowed him to express it, and we could have just, it was quiet for him. I think he was used to people jumping on him, and we weren't doing that. We were going to have just a nice conversation, and he wanted an argument. He was like, "Where's my argument? Where's my?" He's not strong enough, you know.
It's easy work, but we want to let there's some new people here. We want to allow you ladies to speak.
I'm gonna be real quick with mine in regards to the passport bruh who just came up. Sometimes we, being the people that have more emotional intelligence, sometimes we just have to let people cook in their own simmer, right? And so what we just experienced was someone who was speaking from their trauma. Part of the reason why they
What happened, Miss Fox? You jumped off.
I'm messing up again.
Good.
Okay, and I'm saying sometimes we have to let people speak from their trauma because that's where he was speaking from. It's a reason why he had to go join the quote unquote passport bros, because he kept giving his introduction as I'm the passport brother, red pill, something, something, something. He had to
Thanks, Miss Goddess.
Oh, okay, you cheering down there. Okay, but he has to associate himself with something to make him feel whole. So when a person does that, you just let them cook and simmer where they are, because his argument is not going to move anything forward in our relationships and where we're trying to grow as a community. I'll yield the floor and I'm jumping off.
Salute, sister. Okay, Miss Kanai, you there? Miss Faye Pastor? Oh, back again. All right. I got it. Hold on. Let me see how you. Oh, come on, Pastor. Face to face. You want to speak? I think I don't know.
Good afternoon. Hey. No, actually, good evening. I forgot we still Central Standard Time, but I'm still in the office here at O'Hare. But and I've been on. I've listened. Coach, thank you. Mimi, thank you. You know, at the end of the day, can we just? Here's where it all goes bonkers. Thank you, F2F Coaching. You are wise beyond your years, and you remind me of. You look just like the comedian. Y'all know what comedian I'm talking. Is his name Chris? Y'all. He looks just like him. Oh my God. But anyway, what a wise guy. And of course, they call me, I don't like calling you that name, but beautiful, right up over Kanai. Hey, y'all. Hey, Tashonda or whoever. But I thank God for y'all. Watch this. I guess at this genre of my life, having been married, having been divorced, now in the dating game, so to speak, even though that brother shared what he shared, y'all know what? At the end of the day, this is what I was saying down in the comments. When you get her, the other her that you think you want, you know that her. What you gonna do when she don't act the way you think she should act? Can I tell y'all where we should be? I'm sorry, I have grown male boys, and look, they got a chance to walk with their mom, be around me. While married, not married, never brought any men in the house above my children, ever, ever, ever. And then while I was married, you know what their testimony is? Their testimony is, I never saw them argue, fight, fuss, none. We had a very peaceful home. Watch this. But yet my ex-husband decided he didn't want to be married anymore. And that's on him, because I'm still where I'm supposed to be. I would have took him back. If he had come back, he did not. But now he says it was all emotion. But nevertheless, that's his loss, my game. But watch this. My resolve still is with my men, with my brothers. Okay, y'all. If you're saying that the reason why you're not doing X, Y, and Z, what can we do? But watch this. But me being clergy, I'm also getting ready to ask the question, what can you do? Because the Bible speaks of it this way. The Bible says he gave them. See, what brothers don't sometimes understand fully is that he gave us dominion after he let you name everything, right? After he put you to sleep, because the Bible says, watch this. Now, y'all watch these brothers talking about they don't need us, right? In this culture or whatever culture. But the Bible says, the Lord said he desired that men would not be alone. So he put you to sleep and made me from the very bone that protects you. I want to know with every sense of my being, what can we do? Because can I tell y'all something? Irregardless of what that brother just said, all of us are not wrong. All of our brothers are not wrong. I can't live without my brothers. Don't want to live without my brothers. I pray y'all don't want to live without us. Now watch this. Can we all also resolve that it is, I'm gonna land. Can we also resolve it is exactly what it is? I am who I am. But if I'm going to be a part of your team and you mine, we're going to learn how to bear each other. We're going to learn how to have long suffering. That's why I believe going out here just marrying somebody. Y'all watch this TikTok crap, because going out here just marrying somebody, that's not even realistic. Why aren't we pre-dating and then dating, and then you can date with a purpose? You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't dare marry. It's hard. This.
Pastor, you're going in and out. We can't hear you, Pastor.
Pastor, you get jumped in the matrix, sister. You in the matrix. You in the matrix, sister. Disco told you had that T-Mobile.
Okay, what about now?
Come on.
I was doing good. But I think it's so important to, okay, I think it's so important to know that you know down in your knower that everyone is not for everyone. Y'all, we saying that Mimi was getting, no, I think Mimi just has passion for what she has passion for, and I can honor her as well. Because can I tell y'all something? I know a hot-headed sister.
And I wanted her to speak
Yes,
to the brother,
I do.
but the brother,
And I know a hot-headed sister when I see that brother was ridiculous. Sorry, but that brother was ridiculous. But can I tell y'all something? He's somebody's brother. He may be somebody's daddy. I don't know. But somebody out there is willing to suffer long with them. That's why we got to be folk friends first and then pre-date, then date. Okay, can I answer the problem real quick?
yeah, then I want to bring my brother. I want to bring my brother.
Expectations. Our modern, can you hear me? Our modern relationships collapsing under the unrealistic expectations. I don't think so. I think that we have got to change our own narrative. Just as sure as there's still breath in our bodies, we can turn this thing around. I love my brothers, and I know they love me. I don't care what that brother just said. I work in a place where there's thousands upon thousands of people. And just today, some folks stepped in my office and said, Angela, I'm having a baby. I'm having twins. My husband and I. Okay, folks are still getting married. Thank you so much. I land.
All right, sister. I want to let my brother, Miss Kanai, you was here. We asked about you. I ain't hear you say anything, so I'm gonna call my brother Lord Knife in, and then we'll just let you speak.
Or go. I didn't hear my name called, but it's okay. Let him go.
Okay. How you doing, brother?
What's happening, man? I'm glad to finally speak to you, man. Good to see you. I enjoy your content.
Appreciate you.
I understood what the pastor just said. She good people, but the thing is, we can't jump in and out the word like what just happened, right? That dating and pre-dating, that's what got us where we at right now. That's what got us where we are right now. And dating and pre-dating is nowhere near in the scripture. We can't jump in 1 second and jump out of it and do our own thing. We can't play with God like that, right? It's talking about marriage And that's the part we need to focus on to get our community back to where it was, or where it need to be. The dating and pre-dating and us going out there picking and choosing who we want, that ain't working for us. That ain't working for us because we're not looking at the right things. We did better as a people when our parents or the people around us that not trying to have sex with us, but the people around us are looking and helping us find the things that we're supposed to. There's a reason why you need a mother and a father in the house. Your mama gonna check out that girl and your daddy gonna check out that boy. When we go out and just do our own thing, we picking for the wrong things, the wrong reasons, the stuff that's supposed to bring us together. My daddy, well, my mother was supposed to vet my wife. Until my wife came along in my life, every woman, every girl I dealt with, my sisters and mama would say to their face, "I don't like this stupid girl." They would say that, bold, and I just like. I had one girl. I went back to New Orleans one time with this chick I was messing with in Memphis for Mardi Gras. She was bad. She stayed at my grandmother. You know, I got Christian family. She stayed at my grandmother's house. I stayed by my parents' house. After Mardi Gras was over, we going back home. She hugging on my grandma, and she's like, "Oh, grandma, I can't wait to see you again." Right? I was getting in the car. My grandmother yelled to me, "Hey, Trey, come here." I went back up there. My grandma said, "Don't you ever bring that bitch back to my house." I said, "Yes, ma'am." Before we got all the way back to Memphis, I had already broke up with that girl because my grandmother did not approve of her. See, what I saw was a banging body, but what my grandmother saw was an empty mind. We are not equipped to pick the people that we're going to spend the rest of our life with. But the people that are around us, that have our best interests, we are not equipped with it because we see the flashy things. We see the banging body, right? What they see is content of character. So we need our elders help pick our spouses, not the other way around. I'll land right there, brother.
Man, we appreciate you, brother. Come on. Somebody, come on, brother.
Okay. Is it my turn?
Oh, right out. Oh, yeah, sister. Let the sister speak, then we bring it to you, brother. Come on, sister.
Okay. So the prompt says, oh, hello everybody. Hey, Chicago, Mr.
Hey, you
Chicago,
already know. You already know.
Hey everybody.
You be
Hey, hey,
going,
hey.
I be trying to
Hi.
jump in there with you early. I can't never catch you. Come on, come on.
I know. Hey, coach and lower. It says, are modern relationships collapsing under the unrealistic yes, absolutely. Because that ain't what we started at. And I always say this, that what I admire the most about our people is that we learn to get it out the bud. We learn to get it out the bud. You know, we got family with property in neighborhoods worth over $500,000 or just about $1 million right now down the street from Manhattan Beach in California. You understand? Legacy, lineage. Yes, they didn't start out that way. But as the Honorable Jawanza Kunjufu said, that brother is from Chicago as well. He teaches up there the Pipeline to Prison program that he has. I love him. Like he said, it's about money now. It's about, because I think people have it misconstrued. Wealth is family. Wealth is family. It's not just money. Wealth is family. I've heard quite a few billionaires say that in my lifetime. Okay. Billionaires say that wealth is family and picking the right woman to marry is key. Okay. And so, yes, I believe that these expectations are high. We keep hearing the expectations. And if you look at the person that's actually out there trying to pick her best preferred mate, the one thing that she's looking for the most is the money. It really is the money. If you don't, and the height. We are so demanding with height. You got to be 6 foot tall. You got to have six figures. And then you get mad at who is that with that?
I'm sorry, that's
Is
me. I'm
that you?
sorry. My
Oh,
battery
sorry,
went
host.
out.
I'm
Go ahead,
sorry.
go ahead. I'm sorry. Who
But
about that?
you gotta have all these, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that your preferences shouldn't be what they are, but you turned it down what could be the best man for you just based on those high expectations. And like Charleston White said, some women just have expectations that are, you know, very high. And then some men may have some expectations that may be high, but let's be realistic. Okay? Let's be realistic. These expectations coming from some of us is very ridiculous. And it is stifling. We're only married at a 32% rate in the Black community compared to the Asian community, which is at about 63%, compared to the YT community, which is at about 58%. We're on the lowest totem pole. We used to be married at an 80% rate. And that wasn't just because we were setting and not to say that economic structure is not important, it is. But what we used to do is come together and lend a hand. We knew the true meaning of what help mate and help beat was and serving one another was. We don't have that no more. Now you might be at school helping somebody at the schoolyard, or you might have a program and all of that, but I'm talking about the ability to work with somebody. And the best couple that can be together and stay together is the couple that is able to forgive. And I'm not saying forgive under every circumstance or be with every circumstance, but at least reasonably. And I don't think that we have that anymore. So it's not just even the finances that are unrealistic. It's the unrealistic expectations in terms of how we deal with one another, forgiving one another, and things of that sort. And so you hear little shots being thrown here and there, and what people got to say here on TikTok. Look, TikTok is conversation, real conversation. We on Laura's conversation almost every day, having real conversation about the Black community, about men and women, about children, about boys, about girls, about everything, every day. And then people will walk away from those conversations and say, "Oh, it ain't real. It just happened. Ain't nothing ain't nothing this, ain't nothing that." You know what I mean? But is it? Yes, it is. Can it turn around? Absolutely. But the question you have to answer. We understand being optimistic, but there is a problem. And so right now you have to consider some things. You have to consider that this is a fallen state and nobody's perfect, okay? We all have sin that comes short of the glory. But however, even under that, there is still people, right? A remnant of people who want to who want to take the time to build and to get together, build, create, you know what I mean? Have our children be in a better situation, raise those test scores that Brother Charles was talking about earlier. You know what I mean? I know people don't like Mr. Passport, bro. I know he seems like he's missing the screw here and there, but the brother does state facts. Okay. And so I'm not going to make it about him because he's gone. But I'm saying that the facts does still remain. There's a propensity for us not to like stats. Stats show you where you are. Stats show you where you know what I mean? Like if you run a race and you got contenders and your time is 5.5 and the other one is 6.5, well, you like, dang, I got, and how much is yours? And okay, this is what I need to get to do so I can get to the 6.5. This, I need to know where I need to be, right? And how I need to overachieve or meet that level. So there's nothing wrong with the numbers, all right? The problem is we just don't like reality. And when we look at the facts and when we look at the statistics right there on paper, when it says what it says and it's pointed at you, like Sister Coach said earlier, you're getting triggered. But the trigger is a good thing because you can deal with the trigger. Don't be offended at the trigger. Ask yourself this question when you get triggered. Why? Why do I feel like this when somebody says something about Black women? Why do I feel like this when somebody says something about single moms? Why do I feel like this when somebody says something about or asking me, am I married? Are you divorced? Or whatever the case may be. Deal with the trigger. And when you start dealing with your triggers, then you can come down a little bit because everybody get triggered. All right. Everybody do. Even at the calls, you like, dang, ooh, I don't like that. That's why we overtalk. That's why we yell. That's why we cut off. That's why we do all these things because we really want to get something out. I mean, I was sitting there waiting. I had been on the panel and everybody went way before me. And I'm like, okay. but I'm watching. I'm watching to see the behaviors of what's going on. And this is what happens in the community. It spills right over into the community. Our behavior, our actions, our thoughts, our mental mind, everything is all in the community. And we just don't know how to take. That's why these people work off of our emotions. This is psychological warfare. And I'm going to leave it at that. Psychological warfare. I'm going to drop it right there.
Are we talking about triggers? Yes, I absolutely was triggered, and I'm grown enough to admit that. Here's the thing. If F to F had said the same statistics, I wouldn't have been triggered by it. Because what's your end game is the whole point. He calls himself Mr. Red Pill Passport Brother to encourage others to not find a solution, but to say that your solution is to not find a solution at all and step outside of your own country or your own race and take your wealth and your resources there, which is not a solution at all. My
Well,
thing
that is a
is,
solution.
my
That
thing
still
is
is a
this.
solution.
My thing is this, right? Now, is it not true? Because he did bring up some factual statistics. Is it not true that black men lead violent crime statistics in every major city and they're the least educated? But I would never utilize that information to create a smear campaign on the internet against black men, ever. So again, I say that to say, what is your end game? F to F can use those same statistics to educate us and redirect us in a positive direction. And I already saw where he was going with it, and it was nowhere positive. I land.
Well, black men may be the most less educated, which they are also getting degrees. They don't have to get degrees like y'all do. And y'all are not the most educated, by the way. But I will say this, when I was talking, I wasn't specifically speaking to you. I was just
No,
speaking
I
in
wasn't
general
speaking.
in
I didn't
terms
think
of
that you were
the
talking to me
triggers.
specifically, sister.
Yeah.
I was just
So
saying,
yeah.
like, I
Okay,
do
that's
feel
fine.
like I was triggered, and it was
Right.
because I felt like his end game was for nothing positive. He came here and he does this. He goes
Right.
to multiple panels, and his whole
Right.
end game is to convince other people that black people are a lost cause, which sucks.
But if you know
Well,
that,
is he on the panel?
why fall into
I
his
wanted to say
trap?
something. I wanted to say
No,
something
I
real
just
quick.
wanted to hurry up and let somebody else have the light where they can actually
Come on, Tech.
I wanted to say to the sister next to me, I understand you 100%, and I was
She
feeling
back.
what
I
you.
think she. Okay, she back. She back. Go
Yeah,
ahead, bro.
I'm feeling what she was feeling also. It's like I'm listening to everybody who speaks, and you guys, everybody is coming from a genuine, sincere place, and this is like the highest level conversation that I've heard in a while, like, and not just on TikTok. It don't even seem like TikTok type conversation. And when that dude came in, it like it was something else. It was not on the level. It was not even something like it was just kind of annoying to a certain degree. And I just stayed quiet because, like the host was saying, just let them talk and, basically just give them pushback when the time comes or whatever. But I'm just saying I understand 100% where you're coming from, sister. And yeah, in that conversation, that the level of conversation that he was having, that was on some like low down
and
type
then
conversation. And
listen,
it was
look at
coming
the
from.
comments. Look at the comments. He brings little peons with him that think just like this, right? Oh yeah, why not take your love elsewhere, sir? Just because there are a bunch of bad experiences that you've had with black women does not mean that there are not good black women that exist. And if you don't attract them, then that's a personal problem.
So why are you upset about it?
Right.
Because
You
they're
That's what I
using
don't
that. They're
upset.
trying
understand.
to be. I'll tell you exactly why I'm upset about it. And we try to use being triggered as a way to dehumanize each other. Okay, I'm
No,
triggered.
that's not
So what?
dehumanizing. That's the truth.
Yeah,
It
Okay,
but
but
is.
it's so what is the point?
come on,
Okay.
Okay, I
Mimi.
was
Okay,
triggered.
but
I
it's
am human.
okay,
I
but
have
Ask her a
feelings.
question.
So what?
Let her say
The
It's the
thing
something.
is,
context
the thing
behind
is,
the emotion she's feeling. A
thank you.
lot of this situation, even within our own personal relationships, there are people who feel they are not being validated, whether the feeling is justified or not.
y'all go too much into
When
these
the
feelings, boy. I
Well,
tell
when
well,
you,
the
it
I
doesn't.
get
whole entire race
that's
of
the
people with the
problem.
broad brush.
But
I went to
she,
college at 16 years old. I was married at age 20 to the man I lost my virginity. I don't fit a lot of the stereotypes that he tried to paint us with. And that's why I got
Wait,
But
triggered.
wait,
that's
wait,
He's
wait.
you. But
completely
that's
skipping
just
over a
you,
lot of
though.
people.
Hold on, sister. How many women do you know
That's
like
just
you?
you.
Yeah, how many women you know like you?
The women
Not
in
a
my
lot,
family.
Sister,
ma'am.
I'm
That's
talking about in our
anecdotal.
Many.
community.
It depends on the circle that you
That's
surround
And
yourself
anecdotal,
with.
sister,
Mimi.
in our community, are women typically like you?
Are they? Have you met every woman in your in
Sister,
the black community?
no. You said you went.
70%?
Sister, you said you went to college. You
Boy, I
went to
tell
college at
you.
16. You understood the question. Are most women in our community carry themselves like you?
Sir, do all black women carry themselves ratchet
Sister,
and ghetto?
you
You
very.
can't say most if you haven't met everybody.
I'm asking you. What do you see when you go outside?
What I see when I go outside, I see other black women treating each other with respect. I don't see black women that act like sexy red at all. But these are the monoliths that we get painted as, and it's ridiculous.
Y'all are living
Because
in a straight
you see
lie.
But
guys
see,
like
that's
him
the
get on the internet all the time,
But
and they
sister,
try to paint all black women with this
sister,
wrong
nobody's
brush
doing
of
that.
being this negative stereotype.
But sister, but
Y'all
this
do
the
it to
thing.
black men all the time, though. So what?
Yeah.
No,
Just
I
like that
don't.
trigger. So
I
what?
don't.
Not
And again,
exactly.
you're
Not
projecting onto
you.
me.
Not
You're projecting
you.
onto me because
Not
I don't.
you, Mimi.
But you're helping perpetrate it though,
Goodness
Mimi.
This is the
gracious!
problem.
You keep talking about you. It's
Everybody
not
has an
you.
issue with being able to acknowledge the people who aren't doing that.
Mimi, I'm
I
gonna
want to
ask
let the
you.
brother.
I'm,
I
I'm
want
gonna
to let
ask
the
you.
brother Lord Life talk for
We
us.
give so much attention to people who are doing BS and not the people who aren't.
No, we
Because they
give
have more.
attention to
They have more
both.
of us doing BS than they have good, don't they?
And again, have you met everybody in your
Oh,
community to say who's doing what
man,
more?
sister, this is the thing. This is what make it hard to have conversation with women, right? Y'all jump into to
They
broad
too emotional.
conversation, and then you jump back into anecdotal on purpose. You sister know how bad our community is. But when you get up on a
Aren't bad people. I'm saying,
sister,
why do we
please mute
spend
till I
so
get
much
through.
time hyper
Sister
Sister,
focusing
Mimi,
on
let
that?
him finish, please. Let the
You
brother
gotta
finish.
try to allow the brother to speak, and then sister, you speak back, so we can just have a dialogue. It's not that difficult.
That's
all
fair.
right.
Y'all can go back and forth with each other. We got time. I'm here. I ain't going nowhere to tomorrow. No, I'm gonna quit. I'm going to nowhere. But
All right.
come on, Lord.
If we're gonna have this conversation, we've got to be genuine about what we see and what was going on in our community. Whenever we try and have these conversations, y'all say, well, you shouldn't pay attention to them over there, what they doing. But it's more them over there doing the wrong thing than the right thing.
Thank you, brother.
And see, that's the problem. If you don't want to be honest with yourself about what you see, how can we address anything going on? If we got 100, let's say we had 100 people in our entire community, but only 15% of them was doing the right thing, you telling us, well, don't worry about what the other 85 doing. Hell no. The 85, when my kids go outside, they're going to have to deal with that 85%. You acting like it don't exist. It exists.
I
Almost
think
80%, almost 80% of our children are born out of wedlock. But you want to stick to you. Well, I got married at 18 and so what? The other 80% of kids out there don't have that. But you want to ignore it. That's intellectual dishonesty. So if you can't talk about what you actually see going on, get out the conversation.
The problem is we've been talking about this and it hasn't brought us
And
any
you say
solution
turn your
except for
back,
more
act like it don't
division.
exist.
I didn't say act like it doesn't exist. What I said is we've been hyper focusing on this and it hasn't brought us any resolution. Black men and black women are still at each other's throats and it hasn't fixed anything.
Sister, let me explain something to you. I haven't been here but about 3 weeks talking about this, and this the thing. I'm gonna use me anecdotally. It's been people inboxing and saying certain things to me, letting me know that we are helping. This the thing. Because it's not in mass right now, you have to start small and build up. The narrative can change if we allow each other. I get it. You frustrated. I hear it in you. I understand some of the things you told us anecdotally, but what the brother's saying, and I speak to what he was trying to ask you, just to be genuine, sister. I'm in the community. I know the whole community because I've been in and out this city for my whole life. Oh, it's exactly what the brother's talking about. So he just really not speaking to you anecdotally. He trying to have a real genuine conversation. And I'm gonna be honest. I can screen. You'll be amazed at some of these text messages. I mean, not text messages, but inboxes and DMs. Well, I guess they is text messages. But I've been getting over the past 2 years since I started doing this. I just started the TikTok live a couple weeks ago, and you'll be
That's
surprised.
right.
Progress is being made. It's a lot of it, but it's just not in mass, sister. When you got 30 rooms flooded with what you speaking on, then you got a few that's trying to speak to something else. I built my platform off the nonsense. To be honest with you, I started with positive music. Nobody wanted to hear it. I tried to talk to the brothers, stop the killing. They said, "Oh, here, get your ass up out of here." I said, "Let me go down like how you supposed to do amongst the people and see what's happening." Oh, I got amongst the people, and this is where we at. So these
Yep.
conversations can be powerful if we continue to have them with the people that want to have them, not the people that want to go off and make their point the most biggest thing. So I like the fact that you and brother could come here and build. I want to let y'all build for a few minutes and then give other people a chance to speak, sister. But you gotta be willing to hear the brother out. And I hear your passion. I respect it. Any sister come up here, come on with it. Come on, brother. Come on, Lord.
I just said, I don't think it's right for us to create smear campaigns against each other, because then you have other people who have the same attitude in the comments and they're just spreading more BS, as opposed to saying, okay, here are the statistics and this is what I propose as a solution to this, as opposed to saying just F the black community and divest. That's stupid.
And you felt the need to call it out.
Oh, he asked for Lord to speak and finish it up. Can we have that happen?
Yeah,
And then
after Lord speak, I want to let my brother face to face, coach. I
All
know
right,
you can leave.
let me
Don't leave.
let me
I want
take.
to let you speak out to the brother.
All right, let me tell you why I'm so passionate. For those that don't know, I'm Lower Night Walking. I have my own show right during the week. I'm the second in charge of the new Black Panther Party. Right? I talk all this stuff about the black community all week long, and when the show over and on weekends, I'm in the street doing this shit. I ain't just online talking. Most of our people that's in these lives every day that's talking all that shit, they ain't doing nothing. But then y'all won't tell us, oh, but you don't also want to address it. Man, this is what I always tell everybody. They ask, why you out there doing all this stuff? One, I've been married almost 32 years. Well, right at 31 years, right? I got good kids, college educated, married, grandkids. They're in good spirits. They're doing the things that they're supposed to do. But that don't mean nothing. Once they leave my protection, they go out there and they got to deal with your bastard. It don't mean nothing. So because y'all don't want to face what's going on out there, I got to go out there and clean up your kids. So I won't have to hurt one of them when I pull up to a gas station to pump gas and they come try and carjack me. I got to put a hole in one of your children. You know the 80-something% that's born without a wedlock? The ones that don't know who their daddy is? That's who I got to deal with. See, y'all want to keep on ignoring and talk about the anecdotal. The majority of them kids out there right now have no guidance. How can they have guidance? Mama worked 2 or 3 jobs. The boys running the street. They're the water boys on the corner. The girls, the ones, making all the dance videos and twerking. The one, the girls that you let dress any kind of way. And then when the men say, hey, your daughter don't need to be dressed like that, then you say, why are you looking at them? Well, your daughter ass don't so be out there like that. But the men can't say that because the women jumping away and say, well, you the bad guy because you saw my daughter dressed like a hoe. You supposed to ignore it. So when the brother Passport was up here talking about leaving, the reason why a lot of men in our community got to leave is because the women in our community don't listen. Y'all say y'all want us to be leaders, and then when the men leave, they say, oh, no, don't do it like that. You need to do it like this. Well, listening to your ass is what got us where we at in the first place. So if you want us to lead, hop on the passenger side, hold the map, and say, hey, baby, you missed a turn back there. You tell us what we missed. And we're going to concentrate on the main picture, right? If you're going to ride shotgun, ride shotgun. But the men got to lead us out of this. Because you are not following our guidance. You are not doing your part the way you're supposed to. It's part of the reason why we're where we are now. So when the men come up and talk about what we need to do, stop talking about another way we ought to do it. Whenever I talk about marriage, they're going to have a sister come off me and say, being married don't mean nothing. Whenever I talk about marrying the father of your children, they're going to say,
anyway.
Yeah, they gonna cheat. Why I gotta marry them? I had a sister today that's married. That's married. When there was a young lady in the panel, she said she had 3 children. She was talking about she wanted a traditional life. Even though black women always worked. When they talk about traditional life, they mean the white life. But she was talking about she wanted a traditional life. I said, ma'am, you got children? She said, yeah. I said, you married? She like, no. But I've been asked 3 times. What? You want a traditional life. You don't want to marry none of the 3 baby daddies you got, but you still talking about you want a traditional life. Now, how many sisters you think went up there and told her, baby, that's delusional. When I told her that she hurt the future of her children, a woman that's married, that's a school teacher with 2 master's degrees, got up there and said, you don't need to say that type of stuff to her. You got to encourage her. When her stupid her ass job is to tell women, hey, don't do the wrong thing. But when men get up and tell you, hey, you fucking up, the women gonna get up and say, well, let us slide. We've been letting you slide too long. We done slid off the fucking road now. Now what?
I really appreciate you, brother. Come on, face to face. Come on, brother.
I got you.
I appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you, brother. I'm gonna say this point, and then I actually gotta prepare my meal for tomorrow. But
thank you, man.
Because I can see so much misunderstanding and confusion amongst our people, I try to hold an integrity when I speak to not address a problem that may be apparent right now in current times, but offer a solution where everybody can win if we come together and apply it. Because it doesn't do us a service that every time I see an issue, I point it out. I love to use my house analogy, right? If every time I see a brother homeless and I'm just reminding him, brother, you need a house. You need to figure out how to go get a house, and you don't know what to do, and you out here, you're going to get rained on, you could get robbed. Instead of pointing out his obvious, giving him the tools, and not only giving him the tools, but teaching him how to utilize these tools gives him a higher advantage if we apply it to our younger brothers in the streets, following a death culture, following people who are not going to serve them in the long run. If it means showing them how to be a better man, taking that time, like our brother is, promoting the New Panthers movement. He's an actual activist. He's out here in the streets doing the work. I think it would feed our souls to hear him speak about what he's doing in the streets for our young boys, our young girls, our community. It speaks volumes when we hear about the action our brothers are taking, more than so pointing out the issues that we're all dealing with and what may happen if one of those issues seem to confront me. We know these things. And so I don't, and remember, guys, we're a very passionate yet sensitive culture, easily irritable, very triggered, because we've been through enough, and enough is enough. And the last thing we want to feel like is that we have no place in this society and just come at each other with this defeatist attitude. Like, it ain't no point in trying anyway. I might as well give up. It ain't seeming like we finna get nowhere, and we're doing the blame and complain game towards each other until we're all exhausted. And so I try the best to use the words that come out of my voice to speak not only life, respect, but solution-based information that people can take with them after this live and not leave confused, but leave better than when they arrived. If we all carried that intention when we get on these panels and speak to one another. I'm going to give my sister Mimi something she can take with her so she can, leave here 1% better than when she got here. If I just have that intention, not just to be heard, to get my voice out, to sound better or smarter than someone, my ego has no place in this panel for any reason. This is about my family. This is my brother right here. This is my sister up here. This is my sister right here. And she will be treated as such by me, regardless of how I feel. And I have to exude that, but also have an integrity to show that with my actions. So I just wanted to leave it with that, guys. And I love every single one of us, man.
Thank you,
and we're going to figure this out. I don't care how long it takes us. We're going to get this right. I love y'all, man. I'm out, man. I'm going to go eat my vegan meal. Y'all take care.
Love, baby. Talk to you soon.
Yes, sir, brother.
All right. Get my brother.
I just wanted to say, man, that and this is my first time like joining this conversation, but I just recognized that the conversation was going a certain way and it was on a certain level, until that dude spoke. And I honestly think, we are a spiritual people, and we recognize when a certain spirit is in somebody. And I noticed it, and I noticed that the conversation changed. After he spoke, I noticed the spirit changed. Somehow other people started to clash and things started to get a little different. That's just me being an observer.
Come on, Lake. How you doing? Come on, sister. You come on, Lake. How you doing, brother? My brother back.
Yeah, I'm good. Coming back, seeing what's going on, just snooping around.
Oh, you've been missing it, man. We've been having a good time. You got to meet everybody in the room who you ain't met, but
Yeah,
you're good at
yeah.
tone.
It sound like that brother up there, the Lord nice. I was in here, he was talking, man. I was cheering like I was at the Bulls game, man, or something. I didn't mean the Bulls, but I just say shit.
Well, come on. You said it. You said it right. You said it right.
Man, made me feel like he was Jordan a little bit. He's pulling up some
Man,
shots. You know what I'm saying? He was hitting hard though. But
he got in the paint. There you go, Coach Remy. The Bulls. Lake said it right.
the fact the fact of the matter is, man, you have to acknowledge when somebody is at ground zero. If someone is at ground zero and they're willing to tell you what they've seen and what they're going through. Um, God talks to us in many ways, you know what I'm saying? And he's a reporter. He is out there doing the work and he's reporting back to the culture, hey man, y'all need to do this, or this is coming down the pipeline, or whatever the case may be. Our elders did things like that. We had activists back then that did things like that. It takes courage to do what he's doing. He's actually out there, if you really want to be honest, he's actually out there putting his life on the line.
Dang.
He's putting his life on the line. I mean, there's levels to everything. So say someone like myself, I protected my family. I'm gonna protect my family at all costs in Chicago. We already talked about that. But he is not only protecting his family, he is risking his life for somebody else's family. He could actually get hurt or get in trouble for the stance that he's taking of the title that he's taking. So when he goes out there and he is listening and seeing what do we could do better, what's going on, whatever the case may be, you got to hear him out. You have to take heed. He's on the front line. So and being paramilitary, the first thing we go when we go anywhere overseas, we establish calm. He is trying to communicate with his culture to tell them what we need to do and what we not need to do. And it would be foolish to argue that. It would be foolish to argue that. It would probably be better in our best interest to listen, to really take heed so we can protect ourselves and protect whatever the case may be. These YNs out here is really coming. They're not prayerful, they're not empathetic, they're not sympathetic, they're not compassionate. They coming. And he's saying it right. You don't want to pum someone for or murder someone because of them being out of order. What I spoke of earlier. He's only talking about divine order. Is that our culture needs to have some type of discipline, rules, and regulations to follow so we can be a better people, a better culture. So we can. We have no business burying our children. Our children are supposed to bury us. So at the end of the day, I give it up to the man for not only being a man for his own family, but stepping outside of himself to push the narrative about what's going on. It made me look at myself a little bit. It made me think myself like, you know what? Damn, I could push the needle a little bit further like he's doing. You know what I'm saying? So one all teach one. So iron sharpens iron. So I appreciate him for saying what he's saying. Some people might not always like the delivery. People might not always like how he's saying it or how passionate he's saying it. But make no mistakes about what he's saying is the truth. So you have to look at that and find ways to be better within yourself like that. So I appreciate the brother for getting up here and saying what he's saying and doing what he's doing. But I know it takes courage to do what he's doing.
Brother.
Any one of the sisters want to speak? We ain't
I
heard from
do.
you.
I do. I
Come
do.
on, sister.
Yes, sir. I
Why do I have to necessarily go out there and just and Lord, you have daughters, I have sons. I have grown sons who are looking to date, and they better not just uh gleam and just marry somebody. No, that's not how that goes. And you know what? Don't we can go all day about the Bible, but at the end of the day, you get the will to do of God's good pleasure. And there is some um you don't want your daughter to bring home no anybody. And I don't want my sons to bring home anybody. And I think they do. It's not a sin for you to choose who you're going to marry. That's why I said, and yes, the church needs to teach that more. We do need to predate and just talk, go to coffee shop. Yes, we do. Then we need to date on purpose. So I want you to tell me how I was wrong. And you know I love you. Go ahead.
I don't know what. Come on, sister. Coach wanted to speak.
Think he
oh,
didn't
I'm
say
sorry.
what you just said. I'm sorry.
He did.
It's so much.
Lord didn't
I
say
said that
we have
earlier,
no
way
business
earlier.
dating. He didn't say that.
I
Come
said
on.
that earlier, about 20,
You
30 minutes
did, and
ago.
I want. Oh, okay,
He was
and
speaking to. Come on, Miss Remy. Come on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I want to speak to what the pastor just said, and I also want to just say that I love us. I really do. I love us as Black people. I love us as Black women. We are very, very sacred. We're very special, right? But one of the things that triggers me or that gets me going, I'm not necessarily triggered, but it just gets me going because I'm a mother of 5 sons. I've raised 5 boys, young men, with the help of the FOI and the Nation of Islam, right? And all of my sons are married. One of the things that I know about Black men is that they come into a world being invalidated. They come into the world with 2 strikes against them, that they are Black men and that they're Black and that they are, males, if you will. And it does not matter. I really honestly wanted to hear what Brother Passport had to say. Um, I do believe that some of his points was valid. I do believe that there is a huge issue among us as women. Again, I love us as women, but there's a huge issue. So we've been talking for years as women, Black women, we've been talking. We want everybody to hear us. We want everybody to hear what's on our mind. We want to share our emotions. We wear our emotions on our sleeves. But the moment, regardless to what
Come on, sister. We was listening to you. You there, sister? We lost
come on, Coach Remy.
you. Sister.
Maybe she got a call.
Nah, she probably
Yeah, she got a call. She'll be right back, but
I like her bars might have got thrown off a little bit. Uh, okay, well she gone. Anybody want to speak? The floor open.
can you hear
I
me, brother? Can
Disagree
you hear
with
me?
there
any
she
of the
is. There
Hold on.
she is.
Okay,
Come
okay.
on, sister. Come
And
on.
so I believe that once Black men start speaking their truth, right? Once Black men start speaking their truth, then as Black women, we start gaslighting them. We start invalidating them. Whatever that brother, his thoughts or his emotions or whatever he feel, that's his truth. And he has a right to his truth. What I think was wrong, what I really think was wrong is the invalidation. No, every Black man don't want to go across the seas and find a woman that may tickle his fancy, right? And that's cool. But that is what that brother brought to this topic. And I definitely wanted to hear what I've never sat on the panel with him before, but I wanted to hear what he had to say. And I think it was very invalidating because he got called names. He's ridiculous. He's this and he that. That was so wrong. It was so wrong on so many levels. But what I wanted to speak to the pastor, and I just wanted to say that I believe, right, that dating, the way we date, it is done totally wrong. And I think it needs to be, something has to happen um, in the dating scene, in the dating world, right? Dating is where any and everything goes. I would prefer if we court or vet because you're doing something with a little bit more
I
intentionality.
agree. I agree,
And
Coach.
so, yes, ma'am. And so in the church, I come from the church. I've been in the Nation of Islam for over 30 years, but I come up in the church, so I can kind of speak to that. In church, we can go to church and we can sit in church, right? And we can live with the man and we can have as much smacks as we want to in the past, and everybody up in the church
Not
know.
my church, baby.
You know what I mean? And so I just think that it needs to be done differently. I'm not too particularly into the pre-dating because you still leaving some doors open, right? I I I I I I'm teetering along what Brother Lore said, right? Let me just share a little just titty bit with you guys. In the Nation of Islam, we court with intentions on marrying, and we court between 3 and to, well, I'm gonna say 6 to